Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Osetale, and you already know this is a fashion channel where I share everything fashion related, ranging from pattern drafting, cutting tutorial, and also sewing tutorial. So on today's tutorial video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I made this beautiful top that you see me wearing. It is a bustier crop top, as you can see, just around the waist, and it has a pop sleeve just like this. So this is it from the back. So this is how the back looks like. Okay, it's a very simple and casual top that you can easily wear on a jean, just like the way I paired it, and you're good to go. So this is what you're going to be learning how to make today. Despite the fact that it's an off-shoulder crop top, as you can see, but the sleeve actually covers up for the off-shoulder. You can see me, I'm putting it on my shoulder right now. I can choose to wear it like this, so just bring it down to make it an off shoulder however I want. I'm good to go. So this is it, guys. This is what you're going to be learning how to sew in this video. So this video is a complete video. There is no part 2 or part 3. So this is a video where I'll be sharing with you guys how to go about the pattern drafting, the cutting, and also the sewing tutorial. So guys, if it's a tutorial you're interested in, do want to keep on watching. And again, if you're seeing me for the first time, this is the first time you're coming across any of our videos, do well to hit on the subscribe button, and let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. So for the making of this top, I'm going to be making use of this beautiful African print fabric. I have it to be 2 yards, okay? And I'm also going to be making use of this yellow cotton fabric for the interfacing. I also have 2 yards, okay? I'll be making use of stay. I'll be ironing the stay to the lining pieces. I'll also be making use of this pad for the bustier area, okay? So these are the basic materials and fabrics you're going to be needing to be able to make this top. So I'm just going to place them aside now, then I will draft it out on my pattern paper. These are the measurements you're going to be needing to be able to draft this pattern. Now to draft this pattern, the first thing I'm going to do is to rule a line here, which is going to serve as my starting line. Now remember, it's an off shoulder bust here. I'm going to be taking away the off shoulder, so I'll be taking away 5.5 inches for my off shoulder. So I'm just going to place 5.5 inches on my starting line, then I'll measure to the bust point, then I'm going to take it all the way to the under bust, then I will mark the half length of this top. So the length of this top totally depends on you. You can choose to make yours a little bit longer than your waistline, okay? So after doing that, just connect the lines and label it the chest line. Here is the bust point, on the bust, and the waistline, okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the bust point. I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I'll also take the same thing on the under bust line, and I'll take the same thing on the waistline. Then I'm going to connect a straight line just like this. After doing that, now I'm going to come to the under bust area here. From this line, I'll go out by 1.5 inches, okay? If you're a bigger person, you can use 2 inches, okay? Now to the waistline, I'll go out by 1.75 inches. If you're a bigger person, you use 2.25 inches, okay? So just make sure that you add extra ½ inch to what you took on the underbust line, and you take it on the waistline and you connect it. You can see the line is not totally straight. Now here I will come in by ½ inch on both the underbust and the waistline. So this is constant, no matter your size, just go in by ½ inch on both the underbust and the waistline, and you connect it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the bust line and come down by 1 inch. This is also constant, okay? So just come down by 1 inch on the bust point. You're going to connect from this point to meet the 1 inch that you came down by. Can you see? So you connect it with your French curve, and here you will connect it with your straight ruler. After you're done doing that, this is what you're going to have, guys. Now the next step is I'm going to measure what I have from here to here. I'll be adding extra ½ inch to the measurement. Then I will take it on the chest line just like this. Then I'm going to connect it to meet the bust point line. Can you see? Now after doing that, I'll come in here by ½ inch. Then I will go out here by 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect it to meet the bust point. So you're going to connect with your straight ruler. So just connect it like this. Then this other side, you will connect it with your French curve. So it's not supposed to be too curvy. You can see what I did there. So this is what you're going to have it looking like. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to create the armhole. So to do that, I'm going to be taking my neck width measurement divided by 2. So I want the neck to be 11 inches wide. I just divided it by 2. I have 5.5. I'm going to mark my 5.5. Then I will measure this dart that I'm going to be cutting off. I will add it to it. Okay. Then this point now is the point I'll be making use of. Now, the next thing I will do now to create the armhole is to take my round bust measurement divided by 4 on this line. Okay, so this is it. So from that mark, I'll just come down by 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now to use my French curve to connect from that point all the way to the mark, the 1.5 inches that I came down by. Can you see what I have? So that is it for the armhole. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is to take my round body measurement. So I'm just going to measure my round bust measurement divided by 4. I will mark it. Then I'm going to measure the dart that I have here, and I'm going to add it to it. Okay, now come to the underbust, take my round underbust measurement divided by 4. I will measure the dart that I have, and I'm going to add it to my measurement. Then here, the waistline, I will take the round waist measurement divided by 4, and I will measure the dart that I have, and I'm going to add it to it as well. Then after doing that, I'm going to connect the 3 dots with my straight ruler. After you're done doing that, guys, this is what you're going to have it looking like. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to create a side dart. Okay, so on the bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch, just 1 inch. Okay, I don't want the dart here to be too much. You can use 1.5 inches if you are a bigger person, but for my case, I just came down by 1 inch and I am creating my dart. Okay, you can see. So guys, all these areas here that I'm currently marking out, they are going to be cut off. So all these dart area are going to be cut off. Okay, now that I'm done doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, watch very carefully how I'm cutting it out. You can see the lines that I am cutting, so you have to be very careful not to cut the wrong lines. Okay, so before I cut out everything, I'm going to close up the dart. I'm just cutting the bust line straight just like this. I didn't cut it all the way to the end, guys. So after cutting it like that, I just close up the side dart that I created there. So and I'm going to tape it with my sellotape. Then I'll go ahead now to cut out everything. You can see. So this is it, guys. This is what you're going to have it looking like. So here is the center front and here is the side front. So this is it for the drafting of the front pieces. Now for the drafting of the back, I've already drawn out all the necessary lines that I need. Here is the zipper allowance, then this is the chest line. And remember, we took away 5.5 inches for the off shoulder before taking our measurement. So I just placed my 5.5 inches on the chest line and I measured to the bust point and I took the half length. So the half length of the back I took is 16 inches instead of 17 inches. Let me explain. You remember we took a dart of 1 inch at the side front, okay? So because of that dart that I took, it has reduced the length of the side front by 1 inch. So if I make the length of my back piece to be 17 inches, it will be longer than the front piece when I'm joining it together at the side. So in order for that not to happen, you have to reduce the length of your back piece by the amount of dart that you took at the side of the front when you were drafting. I hope that is understood. Okay, so that is it, guys. Now I'm going to create the armhole of the back. So to do that, I will divide my neck width by 2. The neck width is 11 inches divided by 2. I have 5.5. Now after doing that, I'm going to take my round bust measurement divided by 4. So from that mark, I will come down by 1.5 inches, which was the length that I used for my armhole depth for the front. Then you're going to connect your armhole. To doing that, the next thing is to create the dart. Here is the bust point and here is the waistline. So on the bust point, I will take my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I will take the same thing on the waistline and also the same thing on the chest line. Okay, then I'm going to connect the dots to give me a straight line. Then after doing that, on this line, I'm going to take 1/2 inch on both sides, just like this. Then I'm going to connect it all the way to the chest line to create my dart. So guys, this is it. After you're done doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to take all my round body measurement. Here I'm going to measure my round bust measurement divided by 4. I'll come to the waistline and take my round waist measurement divided by 4. I'll measure this dart and I'm going to add it to it. Then I'm going to go ahead to connect the dots with my straight ruler. Now that I'm done doing that, the next thing is to eliminate zip bulge. So to do that, I'll just come in here by ½ inch. Then I'm going to connect it to meet the chest line, just like that. Because I've reduced this area by ½ inch, I will also reduce the zipper allowance by ½ inch, and I will connect it as well. Then after doing that, just extend the line here and here. So after doing that, I'm going to come to the length here. I will also go up by ½ inch from the length. I will just go up by ½ inch. Then I'm going to connect it to meet the side. This is also a way of me eliminating zip bulge. Okay, so guys, this is what you're going to have after doing that. Now go ahead and cut it out. So guys, this is what you're going to have after cutting. So I'm going to label it the back. Okay, you're also going to cut out this ½ inch that I reduced from the zipper allowance, guys. So cut it out. I didn't remember to cut it out initially, so our zipper allowance is here and here. So this is it for the back piece, and these are the front pieces. Now let me show you guys something. You can see the side of the front and the back match up together. No one is longer than the other. This is because when you take a side dart, you reduce the length of the back by the amount of dart that you took at the side of the front. If you don't do that, the back piece will be longer than the front piece. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead to use the patterns to cut on my fabric. This is what I had after I was done cutting them out. I'm going to explain to you guys what I did. Okay, let's start from the center front. You can see when I was cutting the center front, I cut them on fold. So I cut the actual fabric, the lining piece, and also the pad. Then I added ½ inch to all the sides, just like that. So this is it, guys. That was what I did. Now for the side front, I also cut them on fold. Okay, so I cut 2 pieces of each, 2 pieces of the actual fabric, 2 pieces of the lining, and 2 pieces of the pad. And I added ½ inch to all this area like this. But when I got to the side here, I added 1½ inches for the sewing allowance. I did not add sewing allowance to the pad. I only cut exactly the same thing as my pattern. Okay, so that was it for the side front. And for the back, I added ½ inch to all this area, and I added 1½ inches to the side. And you can see I already have my zipper allowance, so I didn't add anything there. I also cut them on fold, 2 pieces of the lining and 2 pieces of the actual fabric. And another thing I did was to iron my hairstay to the lining pieces before cutting. So it's easier that way, guys. So just iron your hairstay to your lining piece, or whichever part of the fabric you're going to be ironing hairstay to before you cut it out. Okay, so this is it, guys. Now the next thing I'm going to cut is the sleeve. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and fold my fabric together. So guys, I don't want to use this area of the fabric. I only want to use this pattern in the middle here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold my fabric together just like this, as you can see. Then I'm going to fold it together again. So what I just basically did right now is to fold my fabric into 4. Okay, now I'm going to measure how wide I want my sleeve to be. I want it to be about 13 inches wide. I'm just going to add extra 1 inch to that. So I just marked 14 inches, and I am going to, connect a straight line just like this. Then after doing that, I'm going to get the length of the sleeve. I want the sleeve to be 14 inches long. So I'm just going to cut out 16 inches. The extra 2 inches is going to be for all the sewing allowances. Then after marking them out like that, you're going to cut it out. Now you're going to divide it into 2 for the 2 sleeves. Okay, so just fold them together like this. So this is for one sleeve, and this other one is for the second sleeve. Okay, now guys, in order for me to draft out this sleeve, to create the sleeve cap, I'm going to be coming down by 5½ inches, which was the measurement I took for my off shoulder. Okay, So just make a mark there, and you're going to roll it out just like this. After rolling a line there like that, you're going to bring your front piece. You're going to place the armhole on that line. So from that line, you will use your front piece to trace out the armhole to your sleeve. Okay, so this is it, guys. This is what you're going to have. Now after doing that, now from this mark here, I'm just going to create a curve. So just create a curve up all the way to this other point. So this curve now is our cap for the sleeve, which is going to cover up for the off shoulder. Now here, I'm just going to measure 13 inches. Then I will connect it all the way to meet this point. So go ahead and cut it out just like this. So guys, by the time we put elastic band here and here, it's going to give us that cup sleeve effect that we are looking for. So just go ahead and cut out the sleeve just like this. Then you're going to make a notch here to determine where the armhole starts from. So guys, this is it. So elastic band will be here and here to give us the puff sleeve that we are looking for. So this is it for the cutting of the sleeve. Now it's time for the sewing. So to do that, I'm just going to remove my pattern paper. I'm going to start working on the actual fabric first. So I'm just going to place my lining pieces aside. So I'm going to be sewing the pad to the actual fabric. So I'll just place the pad on it. So this is the side that has gum. Place it on it like that. Then you're going to sew it around. You do the same thing to the side pieces. So when you are sewing the side, you're not going to sew this area here. So just sew from here, don't sew here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. This is what I had after I was done sewing as I demonstrated. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and join them together. You're just going to place it together like this. Then you're going to pin it. You'll sew like this. Then when you get to this area here, you're going to sew the curve. So I'm just pinning it down, guys, for you guys to see. You will notice that the side front is a bit longer than the center front. We are going to trim it out after sewing. So just go ahead and sew it. Then you will sew this other side. Then you're also going to sew the lining pieces together. So just go ahead and, sew it together just like that. This is what I had after I was done sewing, guys. You can see I also went ahead to iron it out very, very well. And I also did the same thing to the lining pieces, as you can see. So this is it. Now these excesses that I have here, you see, I told you guys there was going to be excess. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim them out. So just place your fabric together and trim out the excess. So this is it, guys. Then you also do the same thing to the lining piece. So trim out the excess that you have here. So guys, after I was done trimming out the excess, I realized that the neck area here is not totally straight. You can see it's going up like this. So I don't want that. I just, make it straight by trimming out of it like about ½ inch. So this is it. You can see what I have now. Now I'm going to join the actual fabric and the lining piece together. So just place them the right sides facing each other. You're going to sew the neck, then you will sew the side, and you also sew the waist area here. After doing that, then I will also sew the back pieces. I'm going to place them the right sides. So place the lining piece on it the way that they correspond. You can see. So just like this. So the zipper notch is going to actually guide you. Now I'm going to also go ahead and sew the neckline all the way like this. Then I will do the same thing here. So just sew it around like that. So guys, this is what I had after I was done sewing the lining piece to the actual fabric. You can see I flipped it out from the armhole area here. So all those other side I've sewn, then I flip it out from the armhole area and iron it. And I did the same thing to the back pieces. So I sewed it round and flipped it out from the armhole area, and I also sewed the dart on it. So that was what I did. Now I'm going to go ahead to bring my zipper. I'm going to be fixing the zipper to the back piece. So first of all, you're going to mark out your zipper allowance. Then you're going to fix your zipper. You're going to start fixing it from the down all the way to the up. Then you cut out all the excesses. So this is what I had after I was done fixing the zipper. So when you open it up, you can easily separate it. Okay, So this is it, guys. This is it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to bring the sleeves. I'm going to work on the sleeve, but one thing I did off camera was to sew my lining pieces to the actual fabric of the sleeve. So that was the only thing I've done. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to fold it together. You can see the notch I have here that determine where the armhole starts from. I'm just going to go ahead to mark it with my chalk so that you understand what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to bring this piece of fabric that I've already used my iron to fold together. So I have it to be 1.5 inches wide. I just fold it together like this and I ironed it out. So I'm going to sew it from this mark. So I'm just going to sew it round it like that all the way to the other notch. Okay. Then I will do the same thing to the other sleeve. Then after doing that, I'm going to hem the down part of it. So just fold it together like this. Make sure that it is up to 1/2 inch wide so that your elastic band can pass through it. So just fold it like this and sew it down. Then you do the same thing to the other sleeve. This is what I had after I was done sewing as I demonstrated. You can see I've sewn the piece to the up side here and I have hemmed the down part. Okay, now the next thing is for me to, place my elastic band through the casing. So I'm going to be cutting out my elastic band using 10 inches. So I'll be using 10 inches for both the upper side and the down part. So I'm going to cut two pieces of it, 10 inches. I'm going to cut another one for the other sleeve, 10 inches. Okay, and I'll cut two pieces of it. This is going to be for the other sleeve. Now we use my safety pin to place the elastic band through the casing that I made. Okay, so just place your elastic band on it just like that. Then when you get to the end here, you're going to pin it down with your pin. Then you continue all the way to the other end. You can see, so when you get to the other end, you pull it out and you're also going to pin it down with your pin. Now you're going to take it to the sewing machine and you're going to stitch it on both sides. After doing that, place your elastic bands through all the other sides, the down part and this other sleeve. So guys, this is what I had after I was done placing elastic band on my sleeves. You can see. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to attach the sleeve to the body. Before I do that, I'm just going to measure the neckline of the back. You can see I have 11.5 inches, which is exactly what I need. It's even a little bit short. But for the front, I have up to 13 inches. It is too big. My neck width is 11 inches, so plus extra 1 inch sewing allowance, I'm supposed to have 12 inches. So I'm just going to be cutting out of the front neck area a little, just like this. You can see. So now just place the two together to be sure it is the same thing. So this is it. Now I'm going to go ahead to attach my sleeve to the armhole. So just place the armhole of my sleeve with the armhole of my front piece. Then I'm going to pin it down just like this. Take it to the sewing machine and sew it. Then you will do the same thing to the other sleeve. So place the armhole of your sleeve together with the armhole of your fabric and you're going to sew it down as well. After you're done doing that, you also sew it to the back piece. Place the armhole of the sleeve with the armhole of the back piece and sew it down. You do the same thing to this other side as well. So guys, this is what I had after I was done attaching the sleeve to the body, as you can see. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to join the sides together. So I'm just going to place it together like this and I will take my body measurement. So after taking my body measurement, I will join the sides together just like that. This is what I had after I was done joining the sides. You can see I also went ahead to iron it out very well. So this is it for the making of this beautiful bustier crop top with pop sleeve. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Let me know if it's a tutorial you are going to be trying out. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share.